Good morning. Today is March the 11th, and we are out in the area where we were last week in Northern Vigilance. It is about 34, 35. They had a little bit of snow up here. We're supposed to get some down where I live, and nothing but rain. I was going to come up tomorrow if it was going to be treacherous getting up here, but not so much. Fresh snow means fresh tracks and fresh commentary, so that's the plan, and that's what we're going to do. Let's get going, see what we find. We're back. It's like a fresh snow in here, so it's interesting. If I kind of pan around, I can probably make a better point. Kind of interesting getting around in here, because with all the snow, if you are filming or so you want to just avoid getting a big dollop of snow down the back of your neck, you're kind of the snow came down up here as opposed to my own neighborhood, but it's, you know, it wasn't that cold out, so it's kind of a wet snow. So get some down your neck and it's gonna be cold and wet. Cold sucks, wet sucks. Cold and wet double sucks. It's always been the rule. Anyway, good day for tracking. I came across the thing you're going to have to look out for, though, in terms of false identifying false positives, is, excuse me, you look up and you notice there's a lot of snow up there on the trees, and right now it's about 33 up here. As it hits like 37, 38, you know, I see a lot of the snow maybe coming down. You're going to see a lot of that. So you're going to have these dollops, impacts in the snow that show up. And those are not tracks, but you'll have a lot of them. So if you have never tracked before, you should know the difference so you don't frustrate yourself. Yeah, it's kind of weird going in here. I don't think I've been out here in this deepest snow before, or at least not in recent times. There's a lot of deadfall, so it's kind of, you got to watch your footing, because you can misplace your footing or step into a dip or something easily enough. But it does make for a nice little bit of scenery while you're here. And the nice thing is you can't get too lost, because all you really got to do to make the point, kind of backtrack your way out on the trail you made. So all in all, I think right now we're in, I don't know, maybe 4 inches of snow. Not a lot. Enough, but not a lot, but enough for tracking. Not enough for snowshoeing, but well, not snowshoeing as I've done it anyway. Other norms may vary. Normally, I don't usually attempt snowshoeing unless you've got at least like 6 or more inches of snow, preferably upwards of like 8 or 10 to get the workout in. But is there a way to dodge the stream? Because there's no way of really knowing if you're gonna get wet feet or not. I'm going to try this way. Anyway, the weather is what it is today. Okay, we made it to the pond. And actually, I think that tree in the break was there. I don't think it's new. Yeah, the stream's more jumpable here, I think. It is minus the slip factor in the snow. Okay, so for the sake of memories being refreshed, the audio I got a couple of weeks back over in there. It kind of cascaded over that hill as a remembrance. I do not infer in any way necessarily that it is anything related to Bigfoot. I did come back the day after the first burst of it, though, and I did take readings, and it was definitely infrasonic. And it was not normal background infrasonic like you get with on a high windy day. If you have a infrasonic detection gap, you will pick up infrasound from the wind at various frequencies. And that's not me talking, that's Google. I researched that after the fact. Once you get a weird anomaly like this, you look for natural occurrences to make a baseline that goes above and beyond natural occurring noise, I guess, white noise, in order to kind of call the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. That's just research protocol to me. So, as far as gossip factor in the community, saw a video last night that was interesting. Merchant has one out, haven't seen it recently. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have that today, or I'll see it today at some point. The tall ones did, though, and they were kind of ragging on Mark Zaski again. Interesting one, though, because once upon a time, Michael Merchant defended Mark Zaski. The guy that does the tall ones, not so much. They don't get on well, I guess. And Mark Zaski has seen his podcast and responded to it, and I have to say the footage that the podcaster from the tall ones got of Zaski don't exactly make the best first impression for Zaski. I'm putting that as I don't know the guy, so I'm putting that as diplomatically as I can. I will say this, though, in direct observation to your statements, though, sir. To call somebody a racist for accusing you of pareidolia is silly. I'll be nice and use the word silly. You should stop. That's all I'm going to say to that. And I say that as somebody with a very low threshold of patience for people that try to inject their politics and or other belief systems into a unrelated subject. And what I'm responding to is you have like biblical literalists out there that want to interject Bigfoot into the world of that. And no. Apple and orange, whether you like it or not. The minute you use the word Niflheim, I walk away from you because I have other things to do. You're interjecting your belief system and your fantasy world into something that enough people don't take seriously already. So that being said, I'm going to take a segment break and do some photography of this little scene right here, because it is kind of, it's a rare thing when you have like the fresh snow like this, so I'm going to get some of that. And we'll be back in a bit. Okay, we're back. I'm actually going to forego taking any infrasound readings today, mainly just because, again, if you look up, you've got all this like latent snow in the canopy up there, and that's probably going to counteract the source of any that we would get. So I'm going to focus on tracking today and the like. And other than the ones I made last week, I first saw those. I saw somebody going here. I thought, who's following my tracks? But then it just dawned on me. The weather up here through the week really hasn't changed that much, so it's probably mine. So, oh well. More tracks to follow out if I somehow got turned around, although in here it's not really that hard to get around. So, yeah, let's wrap up the Zaski matter and related things. So, what I saw in his response to the tall ones was not the best advertisement for his take on the subject. And for the people seeing these tracks here, those are mine from last week too, just so we know. That's why I'm not gonna. Ooh, look, tracks. Yeah, because they're mine. Anyway, I'll be generous and say that he probably let anger get to the better of him, because Tall Ones has basically been riding him for a few weeks now. I'll leave that where it is because, again, I don't know the guy. I've never interacted with him, so I'm not going to go on some bigfooting jihad about the whole thing, like all too many people in the community do. Interesting bird call right there. It's also just kind of nice to be out here in the still quiet. Got a little wind going on in that noisy bird, but it's kind of rare given the mild winter we've had that you're out in like fresh snow in the middle of this by yourself. It's kind of a cool area anyway because of the you have like all these like weird knolls, like the one over, if I'm getting that. It's hiding behind a tree over there, but there's like a weird knoll thing. You have like a lot of weirdly shaped trees that you only tend to see in, I'm not even going to say New England woods. I'm just going to say like northern Connecticut woods. Kind of a unique ecosystem in some ways. Some people tout, the Adirondacks and some other places. And I'm sure places like the Smoky Mountains are unique in their look and feel too. But that is a place I haven't been. I have an invite, but the guy that lives down there that I know said it's not as big an area as people think. Okay. So another thing that's going on, not necessarily Bigfoot related, but related to outdoors related vlogging. The federal government right now reversed a ruling they did about needing a permit to film in national parks, national forests, this kind of thing. And the way it's worded right now, they are targeting, so they say, larger groups that are doing obvious filming as opposed to like some guy would like me walking around in the woods talking and all that. But it could be interpreted that way. So right now, I make the following declaration. I guess some people could take this as like a chest thumping thing. I am one guy. I walk around with one camera. I do not go out of my way to interfere with the enjoyment of a national park by anyone else. And my channel, because for me it's more about the creative process and just enjoying a creative hobby than it is about monetization, is not monetized. And if they think they're going to charge me money to do what I've been doing for the last couple of years, they can frankly kiss my ass. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to get a permit. I don't need one, and I'm not going to do that because my take on this, and I will fight this in court, by the way, I'll waste money on that, is the fact I don't need a permit to engage in a First Amendment related hobby on public lands that my tax dollars already pay for, if I'm not bothering anyone, which I'm not. That's not happening. I've seen a couple of things on YouTube lately that have been, spouting concern about that. And the people that are showing concern are people, one guy is an outdoor photographer. And if I understand the exact wording correctly, Still photography with like a camera on a tripod, they're currently leaving alone, but it's a money grab. Don't kid yourself. This is nothing but a fucking money grab. And I'm not gonna say sorry. Well, you know, pardon my French. It's annoying. You can fly a drone and enjoy it over the national parks and all that, but the minute you monetize your channel or something and use the footage, you get nailed with a ridiculously high fine when you probably weren't hurting anything. And, you know, I'm sorry, but when people are like, why would the government cover up Bigfoot? Because money. Here's an example of it. You want to go out and use the national parks and you want to film because filming the scenery that this country has is a natural inclination of people, and for them to try to quote unquote tax it, no. If you're operating a business, that's one thing. For me, this is a hobby. I'm not paying for it. I already pay for it in terms of my tax dollars. I'm not paying for it twice. There was something in the Revolution against the British about taxation without representation or double taxation or something, and this ain't far off that mark for me. So, number one, the odds of actually running into a ranger or somebody who's got that on their mind, where I have gone, is fairly slim. It's bad enough that the state of Connecticut is amazingly stingy with where, in terms of like in a state park or a state forest, you can't fly dry. You can fly over it, but you can't fly from it, which makes a very limited amount of sense. But near airports and things like that I get, because you're like dealing with FAA stuff and you have to work with airlines and things. But out in the middle of nowhere, people, if they're not bothering anyone, shouldn't be bothered to worry about such things. And that is how I feel about that. One guy expressing concern last night was an AT hiker, and apparently it applies there too. You can't fly a drone on the AT apparently either, which is interesting. I do have a research area that does touch upon a stretch of the AT, I'm sorry, again, the same principle applies. If you are out here walking around with a simple camera, like a simple GoPro or something, and you're not monetized, you're not going to tell me I need a permit. And if you do, I'm going to get your name, your badge number, and your supervisor, and we're going to go to court. And I'm going to file a complaint against you, and I am going to become a pain in your ass too, because there's really no justifying that. On a not similar note, a network researcher guy, I think this was in New Hampshire, had a conversation a while back with a person who worked for the Forestry Service, and the subject of Bigfoot came up, and she got oddly hostile about it. Not sure why, unless it strikes a nerve, but the mere existence of a near humanoid is an astounding thing, and why it would threaten national security still. I mean, other than monetary, you have to follow money pretty much. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Either park revenue or more likely big timber and activist whores. And let me be clear, one little bit of politics for today. If you are an activist in some way, shape, or form, you are in fact a whore. You're a whore for your cause, but too many of you have questionable principles. So, I said what I said. Anyway. So, There you go. I predicted before that dollop of snow that comes down from the treetop that gets me in the neck. There, that just happened. I just blew part of it off my camera. So, trying to think of anything else that the permit thing. The minute they go after non-monetized people, and if you check out the channel I have, it's not monetized. Mainly because I started using a drone, and I would have to go back through sufficiently enough drone-related videos that I'd have to go through every single one and at this point, it would be such a convoluted process. It's just not worth my time to do it because, like I said, I do it for the creative aspect of it, not the money. And for the people that are like supporting Patreon, if that's what you do, you know, knock yourself out. But I have trekked north and trekked up here and gone out in the field on my own dime from day one. And I'm still able to do it. Other people's circumstances vary, I'm sure, but that's my thought on that. What's still interesting is I'm looking around here and I'm not seeing a lot of tracks. I am looking all the way through all of this and I'm not even seeing. Last time I saw like a couple of squirrel tracks, so I'm not even seeing a lot of that now. This is a weird area in some ways. Anyway, I've hit a quiet period, so I have apparently run out of opinionated fodder to offer up. In the near future, once an overlapping work responsibility runs its course, I am, like I said, I think I said in the middle of May, I have a working vacation planned, if you consider this work, that where I'm going to be in a area of Vermont that's north of where I've been in the past, and I'm going to be doing some initial recon in that area because I'll be in a location where I can kind of base camp at not a full inn. I'm basically renting a yurt, and I will be kind of base camping out of there and doing some day excursions. There's a couple of areas in easy striking distance of there where I can get out and have a look about, and that'll be a good thing. And by the time that happens, once you get to the end of May, the regular area opens up more and the regular summer season where I'm north and south begins. And I've had a couple of people offer up locations in that general greater neighborhood where I will try to get up to. There was a track find along the Vermont-New Hampshire border I was made aware of, as well as some stuff along the Mass-New Hampshire border. That's due to have a look. So that's on the radar as well. One day in the not-so-distant future, I'm going to make my way back up the Nuclear Lake, which is in southeastern New York as well. And then beyond that, as things occur, we'll figure out where we go. We're getting to that point now where it's getting warm and all the stuff is starting to come down, which means I'm being pelted by snow. So it's only a matter of time before the camera lens gets hit by one of these things and gets all soaked. So what we're going to do, that near hit right there, the slush off of there, I'm going to allow for that and have a look about for some tracks, and I will probably do one closing out segment when I come back around. But I'm looking for tracks at this point, and we will take a break and we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're back one final time. Been a quiet winter, so there's only so much to cover. I am on the way out, so this is effectively my outro. So like, subscribe, leave comments as you see fit, and at this point we will kind of catch you next time. And that's about it for today. So we'll see you. Bye.